No,
I
but
picked you every time. At this fire pit, I picked you. With the letters, I picked you. Here, I picked you. You didn't pick me. You didn't pick me.
Aniya is so understandably hurt. This isn't only about KC walking in with someone else. It is about the pain of realizing I was choosing you while you were no longer choosing me. But I think that there is an even deeper layer here. This is about the pain of feeling unwanted and what can happen when two people walk into a relationship already carrying that pain.
this whole time, I picked you time and time again. Even when the first day, nobody picked me. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
Let's not forget that part.
KC seems to be carrying real pain from not being picked by anyone in his first Love Island experience. And I want to acknowledge that because I do think that would be painful, of course. It would probably feel embarrassing and humiliating to stand there and realize that no one chose you.
It doesn't feel good. It's kind of awkward.
What KC may not fully realize is that there is a difference between being hurt and being harmed. He was hurt, that makes sense, but I don't think that anyone set out to injure him. No one walked in thinking I want to reject KC and humiliate him. People were making quick choices based on first impressions, attraction, and very limited information. But KC seems to carry that experience as if someone did something to him. And when we carry hurt in that way, it can easily turn into resentment. So instead of being able to say, that hurt me, I felt unwanted, I felt embarrassed, the pain can come out sideways as anger, criticism, defensiveness, or meanness towards the person closest to him. And in this case, that person was Aniya, even though Aniya was standing in a similar wound as well, because she had chosen sincere and was not chosen back. Aniya and KC both started this experience with the wound of feeling unwanted, but in different ways. KC opened his door and no one was standing there. And Aniya did choose someone. She stood behind Sincere's door, but Sincere had two women choose him, and he chose Melanie. So KC's pain may have been, no one picked me, but Aniya's pain may have been, I picked someone and I still wasn't picked back. So both of them entered into this relationship with a bruise already there. Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Pam, therapist and relationship counselor, and I am so excited to be reacting to Love Island again. And just to note, I will be showing clips from the first 21 episodes. And also, just so you know, I do not diagnose, judge, label, or draw conclusions about anyone. This is about using what we have been shown in this highly edited show so that we can talk about relationships, emotional dynamics, and personal growth. Also, I will share with you and say more about what I thought was the most touching moment during the recoupling at the end of this video. Okay, let's go.
KC, as you're both single, you are a final couple. Go ahead and join your fellow Islanders at KC's door.
Obviously, they were paired not because they clearly chose each other, but because both of them had experienced rejection in that first coupling. So before they even had a chance to build something, the relationship started from a place of hurt. And I think they carried that bruise very differently. Aniya seemed to carry it through loyalty, and I am not suggesting that loyalty was the only thing that she felt. I think her feelings for KC did grow. She kept trying to show KC, I am here, I am choosing you, I am staying with you.
I would just pick you. And this was a decision where you could pick me and you didn't pick me.
Aniya is saying, I picked you every time. Why didn't you pick me back? But sadly, KC seemed to carry his hurt through resentment. He seemed hurt that Aniya did not choose him on day one, but I don't think that he fully acknowledged the context. This was the first day. No one really knew anyone yet. Aniya had chosen someone else, and that person did not choose her back. So to carry Aniya not standing behind his door as if she personally rejected him, or as if she intentionally made him feel unwanted, feels completely unfair to her. And that is where this becomes so painful. Instead of recognizing, we both know what it felt like to feel unwanted here, but KC seemed to hold on to his own hurt and place a lot of that pain onto Aniya. And Aniya, who also knew that pain, eventually tried to prove her loyalty by choosing him. And before we get into Casa Amor, let's look back at their relationship unfold a little bit after they were coupled up on the first day.
Like, really open to exploring her?
Really open. I mean, if it happens, it happens. I mean, I feel like if it's mutual, like if she want to explore me and I want to explore her, yes. But like, if we don't have a connection or a vibe, then like, there's no reason to like end what we have going on.
Aniya appears to want to be open to KC exploring. She does not seem to want to control him, and she seems to understand that this is Love Island, and part of the experience is figuring out whether the connection that you are in is really the connection for you. But at the same time, I do sense insecurity in Aniya. What we don't know is where that insecurity is coming from. Is it coming from her own fear of not being wanted? Is it coming from the fact that their connection started after both of them had already felt rejected? Or is it coming from something that she is sensing in KC that maybe he is not fully in the relationship with her? Because sometimes insecurity is not just something someone brings into a relationship. Sometimes insecurity is information. Sometimes it is the body and the heart noticing something feels uncertain here, something feels off. I don't know if this person is really with me. So I want to be careful here not to frame Aniya's insecurity as if it is only her issue. It may be partly her wound before she came into the island, I don't know, of course, but it may also be her response to a connection that does not feel emotionally secure.
Even when Corbin came in, like,
Well, I really wasn't stressed about Corbin ever. But like at the same time, I just wasn't stressed about it. Like, I mean, you never give me a reason to be stressed.
Exactly.
So
you see?
Yeah, I do see.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You see how it's different?
Aniya is trying to explain something very important here. She seems to be saying, I understand that you want to explore. I am trying to be open to that. But I also need you to understand that it is emotional when someone else comes in and there is interest there. When she brings up Corbin, I don't hear her saying, you are not allowed to explore. I hear her trying to explain what it feels like to have someone come in and create uncertainty. And KC has not really had to sit with that yet. Corbin came in and Aniya did not explore that connection. So I hear her saying, you have not had to be in the position I am in right now. You have not had to watch me be interested in someone else while trying to stay calm and open-minded about it. And that is such a vulnerable place to be in. Because being open to someone exploring does not mean that you do not feel hurt. It does not mean that you feel secure. And it does not mean that you are unaffected. It means I am trying to give you freedom, but I am also scared of what that freedom may feel like for me.
I feel like I'm actually closer to Aniya. I feel like we actually built something more. Like, she really has like very deep feelings for me. And it kind of made me like wake up and be like, all right, like, you gotta lock in, bro. I'm in a place where like, I'm very much interested in you. I care about you.
KC says that he is closer to Aniya, and he even thinks that he should lock in. It tells us that at least in that moment, he was communicating some level of investment. He was not presenting this as, there is nothing here. He was not saying, Aniya and I have no connection. He was saying that there was closeness. There was understanding. There was enough there that he was considering locking in. So, my question is, where did that closeness go when he got to Casa Amor? Because later when he says he and Aniya had nothing in common, that feels like a big shift. And maybe in Casa Amor did help him realize that the connection was not as strong as he thought it was. That can happen. But I think we have to pay attention to how quickly a person can rewrite the story of a relationship once someone brand new makes them feel wanted. Because if he felt close to Aniya before Casa Amor and then suddenly describes the relationship as if there was nothing there, That is confusing and painful for the person, Aniya, who was still trusting what he had communicated. And that is part of why Aniya's hurt makes so much sense. She was not just holding on to a fantasy. She was responding to what KC had been saying and showing her before he left. And keep in mind, this is highly edited, so we have no idea how strongly he communicated interest in her.
Bro, all I see is Naya like this. That's what I'm saying, bro. I told her about that shit. I was like,
Sleep, bro.
I told her I was like, I'm a very touchy person. Like,
Yeah.
Casey wants more affection from Aniya. Wanting affection is not wrong, of course. Wanting to feel desired and wanted and reassured and physically close to the person that you are coupled up with is what you should want in a relationship. And I will say more about that because I do think that this is an important part of what Casey was feeling. But for now, I want you to hold that in mind as we go to Casa Amor, because once Casey gets there, he does seem to receive the affection and reassurance that he has been wanting. Now, keep in mind, we have no idea how much affection and reassurance Aniya gave Casey. That was edited out. But this is where this becomes more complicated, because Casa Amor does not just introduce another woman, it introduces another feeling, the feeling of being wanted. So let's go to Casa Amor.
What's your favorite position?
she look good doggy.
Oh my God. Casey always doing the most, but people be thinking I'm crazy, like I'm going insane. He always doing the most, and I know he's going to do the
You can see it in Aniya's face. She looks so hurt, but she also looks disappointed. And when she says that Casey is always doing the most and that she knows he is going to do the most, I think that tells us something important. This does not seem like a brand new fear for her. It seems like she already had a sense of Casey's pattern. She may not know exactly what he is doing in Casa Amor, but she seems to expect him to push the limits, to enjoy the attention, and maybe to lean into the moment without fully thinking about how it would land with her. And that is painful because sometimes hurt is not only about what we see, it is about the confirmation of what we already were afraid of. Aniya appears to be watching Casey and thinking, this is what I was worried about. And that kind of disappointment can feel different from shock. Shock says, I can't believe that this is happening. Disappointment says, a part of me thought this might happen, and I was hoping that I would be wrong.
Physically, I have more attracted to Titi. And on top of that, she pursues me.
Does that shit play in your head though? The fact that like Naya didn't really pick you there.
That's what I was saying, bro. I was like, I be telling Naya that, like, you didn't pick me, bro.
Yeah.
Titi literally came in here and said, I want you. I've been watching you, like, you know what I mean? Like,
Claimed your ass.
I'm saying, bro, she give off that energy. I mean, Naya give off that energy, but it don't feel real because at the beginning, he wasn't.
So Casey says that Titi wants him. He feels pursued, he feels chosen, he feels like someone is giving him the energy that he has been wanting. And even though he has said that Aniya gave him energy too, this seems to feel different to him. But then he says that Aniya didn't pick him. And that is where I think we have to pause, because that just feels so unfair. I think this is what resentment can do. It can make one moment feel much more personal than it actually was. KC seems to be carrying the pain of not being picked, but instead of recognizing that Aniya was also standing in a similar wound, he seems to place that hurt onto her. He is not acknowledging that Aniya deserves that validation as well.
Me? Like, damn, everybody wants a little piece of Naya tonight. What in the I'm just all on the tram, like my hair was insane.
And when a second man chooses Aniya, you can see how surprised she seems. She says, me? And that little moment is so important because sometimes the wound of feeling unwanted does not only show up as anger or resentment, sometimes it can show up as disbelief. It is not, of course he wants me, it is, wait, me? And that tells us something about Aniya's experience as well. She may have been carrying her own insecurity, her own fear that she was not the one people would naturally choose or pursue. So when men begin to show interest in her, part of her seems touched by it, but another part of her seems genuinely surprised by it. And this is where Aniya and KC feel different to me. Casey's pain around feeling unwanted seems to come out, like I said, as resentment and comparison. Aniya's pain seems to come out as disbelief, likely relief, and very happy. Next, Aniya sees the postcard pictures of KC with Titi, and this is what she says.
It's like low-key hurting, like low-key crushing me.
Understandably, she is incredibly hurt. She knows that the pictures that she saw were outside of the challenges. They were more intimate. If someone tells you he is exploring, that hurts. But when you actually see the image, when you see the closeness, the body language, the affection, the energy, it can feel much more real. It is no longer something she is imagining. It is right in front of her. And for Aniya, I think those pictures likely touch the exact fear that she was already carrying. Maybe he is really not with me. Maybe I am choosing him more than he is choosing me. Maybe I am staying loyal to someone who is not staying emotionally connected to me. That is why the postcard is so painful. It does not just show KC with another woman, it confirms or seems to confirm the insecurity Aniya was already trying to manage.
I went to sleep right there, bro. Leg.
How you feel a leg up?
She never give me that leg up. She's like the one that's like, oh, I don't want to kiss, I want to go to sleep. And he doing all that shit.
When KC sees Aniya cuddled up with Carl, he's clearly upset. And I want to acknowledge that because I do think that would hurt. If KC wanted more affection from Aniya and then he sees her giving that affection to someone else, I can understand why that would touch something painful in him. He seems to be thinking, she never cuddled with me like that. She never gave me that kind of softness. She never made me feel wanted in that way. But here is where it becomes complicated. KC is also in Casa, Amor, exploring another connection. He is receiving affection, attention, and reassurance from Titi. He is allowing himself to feel wanted by someone else. So the painful part is not that KC feels hurt. The painful part is that he seems to feel entitled to his hurt without making room for Aniya's hurt. He can understand why it hurts him to see Aniya close to Carl, but he does not seem to fully make room for why it would hurt Aniya to see him close to Titi. And he has to know there is a possibility that Aniya saw pictures too. But even if he does not know exactly what she saw, he knows that he is building something with Titi. He knows he is receiving affection, giving affection, and allowing that connection to mean something to him. So this is where it feels unfair. He wants his hurt to be understood, but he does not seem to be offering the same understanding to Aniya. And that is the double standard. He wants the freedom to move towards someone who makes him feel wanted, but he struggles when Aniya experiences that same feeling with someone else. So when he says that she never cuddled with him like that, I hear the wound underneath it. I wanted that from you. But I also hear the unfairness because Aniya may have wanted emotional security from him too. And if she did not feel fully safe or fully wanted in that connection, it makes sense that certain kinds of affection may not have come easily to her.
Off with Aniya, I don't even know what the fuck. I've never seen her that with that much happiness. Are you happy for her? Nah. I don't really give a fear. But like she's on a thin ass line. Like any argument she bring up.
He sees Aniya receiving affection. He sees her giving affection. And instead of recognizing maybe she is also experiencing what it feels like to be wanted, he gets angry. He says something like, she never cuddled up with me like that. And this is such an important moment because it shows us that KC is not just moving on. He is still watching Aniya through the lens of his own hurt. He is with someone else, he is building another connection, but he still is angry that Aniya is giving another man the warmth that he wanted from her. And then he says that he is not happy for her. He says he does not care. And that is really important because that is where his hurt looks like resentment. It is one thing to say that hurt me, I wanted that with her. That would be vulnerable. That would be understandable. But it is another thing to say, I am not happy for her, while he is also receiving affection from someone else. Because in that moment, KC does not seem to be holding both truths. He can see his own hurt very clearly, but he does not seem to be making room for Aniya's hurt as well. He wants his pain to matter, but he is not extending that same care to her. And this is what resentment can do. It can narrow our empathy. It can make someone else's joy feel like something personal against you. It can make someone else's happiness feel like a betrayal, even when we are giving ourselves permission to be happy in a new relationship. So when Casey sees Aniya cuddled up with Carl, I do not think that he is only reacting to Carl. I think he is reacting to the painful feeling of, why did she not want me like that? But instead of saying that, instead of naming the vulnerability underneath, it comes out as anger. And that anger becomes unfair to Aniya. So as we watched Aniya so terribly hurt when KC did not choose her, we also saw what I thought was one of the most touching moments I have seen on Love Island this season.
I got with it. And I was just wrong, but funny.
See, like I said, I cry every time. So Carl is watching Aniya break down, and he quietly whispers to himself, "It's okay, Aniya." And you could see the empathy in his face. He is not making the moment about himself. He is not punishing her for not choosing him. He is not sitting there with visible satisfaction like, well, you should have picked me. He just looks genuinely sad for her. And I thought that was beautiful because Carl could have been hurt too. He wanted Aniya. He put himself out there. She did not choose him. And yet, when he sees her in pain, he still seems to be able to care about her pain. That is emotional maturity. And you can also see something in Aniya's face that looks like regret. Not necessarily regret because she had deep feelings for Carl, but regret because in that moment, I think she realizes that she had someone standing there who wanted her, and she chose someone who did not choose her back. That is a very painful realization, because sometimes regret is not only, I chose the wrong person. Sometimes regret is, I abandoned the part of me that knew I deserved to be wanted. You may be thinking she should have chosen Carl, but sometimes we need to see the truth of the relationship we are already in before we can fully choose something new. Okay, that is a wrap for today. Make sure to come back for more Love Island. See you soon.